Okay, so welcome to this annual general meeting from this 17th January in Avignon. We will start with the report of activities over the year 2021, as well as an outlook of the forecast of the year 2022. By the way, we are approximately at the half of the year, so a lot of what will be outlined as is already close to realization.
So first subjects will concern our project for the European Union, namely General Directorate Justice, which is the part of the European Commission, the commissioner dedicated to justice questions, or the e-justice, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, Etienne, dedicated part of the Council of European Council. Is that correct, Jean-Raymond? Okay. So these are our traditional instances with which we discuss. And this year, the big event is the labelization of Find an Expert 2 as a project retained by the European Commission to go further than the Find an Expert 1 project, which was conducted during years 2017 up to 2019. So maybe I could give the word to Beatrice if she's there online, or perhaps to Jean-Raymond for a quick word about the targets of this project and the main steps in which we'll achieve the results proposed by this project. Maybe I can give you a microphone. Tu viens de mettre peut-être là. So Jean-Raymond Lemaire is the past president of the European Institute, and he is the leader of the Find an Expert 2 project with Beatrice Dehaye.
Okay. I'm sorry for my English. You know that because most of them were not this morning. So I don't take any lessons this morning from my English. So just e-justice is from the Council. It's a representative of the countries, and they ask us to present a project. They ask us to present a project to get a register of European expert or expert of Europe. I don't know exactly, it's not easy. And there is a register for the bailiffs, there is a register for the lawyers. It's not exactly finished, but they work on that. And they ask us to do the same thing for the experts. So we make a proposition. The first time the project was rejected because we were accepted, but the European Commission have not the money to fund the project, so we cannot do the project. And the second time they give us a project. We have a proposition, and I'm not going to enter in detail of the project, but the main milestone of the project are clear. First, we try to define what's an European expert in Europe. We are going to try to build the rules to nominate an expert, to put away an expert if it's not okay, to control an expert, to for the training of experts and so on. In the same time, we are going to work on the nomenclature. Everybody understands it's very complicated to have, because there is some matter, it's very complicated. For medical matter, for me, it's very complicated. I think probably for a judge, IT matter, it's also very complicated. So we are going to work on that. And we decide to make the project with 6 countries as pilot countries. I'm not sure we are going to succeed with the 6, but the 6, if I didn't any mistake, it's Romania, Poland, Belgium, Luxembourg, not a joke, but Luxembourg, France and Italy. Or just for the joke about Luxembourg, don't repeat my joke, but it's not the most important country, but it's the founder of the European Commission. So it was at the beginning of the European Commission. So yeah, for Brussels, it's important. Okay, so we are going to work with these 6 countries, but we try to have the rules for the whole countries, state member of the European Union. This register is going to be put on the website of the European Justice. The name is the name of the website is e-Justice. So our work is going to put on this website, and we work on the nomenclature, on the inventory of the role of expert in Europe with a project Final Expert 1, and these roles are put on the website e-Justice also. So it's very important. Second, we explained to the European Commission that we cannot do the project completely without a second step. So we are going to ask in 1 year, we are going to ask a new project to project on all the member states what we have done with the 6 pilot countries. So there is a second steps, and normally we explain that if we have not the second step, we can put on the basket. We can put
dustbin.
Yeah, and it's not useful to make the first project, because if we cannot extend our project, no useful for the first project. And clearly, we have indicated this point in our project. And after, we have a third problem about that, third project. I don't know how we are going to do that, but one of the problems with European Commission is that they have some money to ask projects to everybody, and not only for justice, for a lot of area. They pay the invest, but they never paid the functioning of the project. So we create a very nice project, and there is no money to use the project. It's stupid. They know that very well. We explain that. Institute is very critical against the European Commission and against the Council of Europe about that. We explain that it's stupid to put money on a project and cannot use the result of the project. It's stupid. And it's today probably 80% of the project are in this case. So we explain that, and we propose that at the end of the 2, 3, or 4 years, we propose a solution to operate what we have created. And this is complicated. First, Deutschland, they have an organization where roughly we can say that, where the commercial court, when the commercial organization, when the artisanal organization and so on, nominate the expert, and the judge use this expert. So the experts are chosen at the level by patronal organization. In Italy, we don't know exactly how they are nominated. No, it's a job also. So they are nominated by all the courts, not appeal court, all the jurisdiction in Italy have a list of experts, and very, very important list of experts. There is, if we take money for each expert in Europe, we try to keep all the Italian because probably there are more than all the other experts in Europe. Probably more than, I don't know exactly, but more than 200,000 experts in Europe. In Italy. And in France, we are 10,000. In Germany, it's something like that. In Netherlands, I don't know, but so there is a large debate. In France, we are nominated by the appeal court, not by the judge. But it's not the same thing. And it's very difficult to imagine that the expert can manage the list of experts. So institute, it's a good place to do that because there is appeal court, there is judge, there is lawyers, there is bars, there is experts, and there is academics. So probably, if we succeed, if you succeed, because for me it's the end, but if you succeed, you can create the management of the European experts for the next 50 years. If you succeed. But I think it's the only way, because everybody is concerned by the nomination of experts, because it's an activity, but it's also a profession. It's not very clear. The rules are the same in each country. We ask the expert to be efficient, to be trained, to be independent, to be not too expensive, and so on. And in each country, the same thing. But there is some difference. For example, in Romania, there is somebody from Romania, so we can discuss of this point. All forensic experts are public experts. They are nominated by the Ministry of Justice. And it's a little problem because it's not completely independent. We don't accept this way in France. I don't have a discussion about that. I don't judge. I explain, and so on. So there is a consensus to get for all these subjects. So this is the main subject for the 6, 7, 8 future years. I'm sorry for the comments, and don't explain that this morning, but because I know that there is 2 meetings, I must keep something to say this afternoon. I'm sorry. Something else, I don't know.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Jean-Raymond. As you understand, this project was, we're very glad that this project was successful this year, as it has been submitted previously and without success, and so it took a lot of amount of work from Jean-Raymond and the group, and also to build a partnership with EuroExpert, which is a European association, but mostly based in Germany and German-speaking countries such as Austria.
Probably in Czechia also.
And Czechia. So the financial budget is quite significant, and we probably can achieve to make some good results with such success. If you normally all members of the institute have received information sent by Natalie about this project and the kickoff. If you did not receive information, please send a mail to Nathalie Sillon. She will add you on the list for information about the project. And should you want to join one of the working groups, then perhaps it's still time to do so. So in the first time, you will be sent the project organization chart. And then if you want to go further, then make yourself known to the project leaders via Nathalie Sillon. Any questions for Jean-Raymond?
More? So, just 1 minute more. We work I explained this morning for people from the comment. We work with the method named the Conference of Consensus, with the method to try to find consensus. Or when we have a debate on a large job, for example, the register of European expert or expert of Europe, it's not exactly the same thing. Take in your mind this point, not the same thing, European expert or expert from Europe, not completely different, what we are going to choose. So when we try to get a consensus, we have a method for that. It was imported in an institute by Alain Ray, who is a former first president of the largest appellate court in France. He works on this subject. He gives the information to the institute, and he worked with us since 10 years on this subject. So we have a method. We don't do anything. We know that. We are a very little organization, but the European Commission is confident with us, and they give us some project with a lot of money. The budget of a project like Finland Expert 2 is not expensive at all, but it's 300,000 euro for us. And the budget of the institute, it's 40,000 euro. We are going to see that, but it's not the same thing. But we can manage that, and we succeed until now to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Raymond, for all these informations. Again, if you want to learn more, have more details, then send a mail to Nathalie Sillon, and all the information available about the project roadmap, the project organization, the next coming events. All this information will be made available to you. You can also go on the website of EEEI and see also the pages dedicated to the project on our website. So very quickly about these projects that were submitted, but without success, to the General Directorate Justice. We worked in partnership with the Court of Appeal of Venice in Italy, and also a not-for-profit organization named Agen4, also based in Italy, on two projects named Themis and VR Digijust. None of these two projects was selected, but of course, again, submission created activity, and also helped us to get into contact and co-work with other institutions in Europe, such as the Court of Appeal of Venice. So it was important to mention this also.
Voilà. Le fait qu'on ait des projets retenus et des projets pas retenus, il faut quand même rappeler que dans le contexte de la Commission européenne, c'est pas facile d'avoir des projets retenus. Même le projet Final Expert 2 a été recalé avant d'être finalement retenu. Les projets sont retenus ou pas en fonction, bien entendu, de la qualité des projets, mais dans le cadre, par exemple, de Final Expert 2, notre projet avait déjà été accepté l'an prochain, mais finalement, n'avait pas reçu de budget. Donc, c'était vraiment une victoire à la Pyrrhus. Cette année-ci, il a été retenu et avec un budget. Donc, il est important de se rendre compte que si on veut être présent sur l'échiquier européen, il faut participer à des projets. Ils ne sont pas toujours retenus. C'est la règle du jeu. Pour cette fois-ci, c'est peut-être pas plus mal parce que de toute façon, on n'aurait probablement pas eu les ressources suffisantes que pour mener tous ces projets de front. Mais ça fait partie évidemment du jeu européen. Avec toutes les frustrations qui s'y rattachent, mais pour vivre avec les frustrations, je vous donne rendez-vous dans la partie académique de cette Assemblée générale avec Eva Ndrukova qui va nous expliquer comment on peut gérer ses frustrations.
Again, about justice and the European Union and European Commission justice actors. One achievement of last year was to have a meeting with the Directeur de Cabinet of the European Commissioner for Justice. I think, Robert, you were participating in this meeting. Who was perhaps? Well, the target of the meeting was essentially to understand better what was the information about the roadmap for justice in Europe in the coming years, in order perhaps to align our strategy, our efforts on the subjects that were on the table for the European Commission, always concerning expertise, of course. But okay, so it's worth to mention. It's not a kind of lobby; it's just a kind of getting to understand closer about the actors.
C'est pas les derniers slides. Ah, c'est pas les slides. Nathalie. Pardon.
Il y a un problème de version.
EEEI is a member as an expert of the Commission for the Efficiency of Justice of the Council of Europe. Observer, yes, observer as representatives of experts, which we do not claim to be, by the way. We do not claim to be representatives of the experts, but rather a representative of the world of expertise and experts, which is slightly different. But anyway, they consider us as representative of the experts. There are several work groups at the CEPEJ, and we have a few dedicated persons who are regularly working in those work groups at the CEPEJ. We have, of course, Alain Nuet, Claude Vallet, Robert Ranquet, Éric Parise, Jean-Raymond Lemaire, and probably other persons who I do not name immediately. I apologize therefore. This is to mention that, of course, if you wonder who is participating, if your question is, I would like to participate, how can I do it? Simply tell us that you want to participate. There are enough work groups at the CEPEJ, and we permanently look for representatives of EEEI to volunteer in these groups. There are many interesting groups about statistics in expertise, to which we are collaborating. There are topics like evaluation of the systems of justice, ethics, for instance, in matters of artificial intelligence, and an additional thing I want to remind for those who perhaps do not know it. Actually, we are European Expertise and Experts Institute. What does European mean? Well, when we conduct a project with a co-financing of the European Union, our definition of Europe is the European Union, and that's for a budget reason. When we are at the CEPEJ, and for all the work we conduct on behalf of CEPEJ, we are having another definition of Europe, which is the Europe of CEPEJ, which represents 47 countries. Actually, it doesn't matter so much for EEEI what kind of definition is concerned. We are rather concerned with the best practice in expertise. Also, we have another definition with our own members. We have still British members with our association. We have always had good relations with the Expert Witness Institute, and of course, it's not because Brexit happens that we should break our relations with Expert Witness Institute. So we have still members of the Expert Witness Institute as member of our institute. What else? There are from time to time missions for which our participation is required. Often those contacts come through CEPEJ, which is of course a good place to meet and greet, to greet of course when the COVID situation enables it. CEPEJ is particularly good in normal times. Of course, during COVID periods, it is quite difficult to meet people when meetings are only organized at a distance. So we see a real difference in the efficiency of contacts, but clearly the contacts there are very efficient and positive. Parfait. Okay, we change just
for a few technical reasons.
The file, my assistant has just mixed up two files, but anyway, the files are approximately the same.
Qu'est-ce qu'elle dit? Tu partages ton écran, très bien. Voilà, je ne vais pas partager le mien, mais je vais quand même afficher le...
OK,
la présentation n'était pas la même.
Okay, I think we have almost the presentation. A communication about two of our representatives, Claude Vallet. Claude Vallet has received personal congratulations from the CEPEJ for a contribution to the GT Eval. Unfortunately, Claude Vallet and Eric Paris, for various reasons, but for Eric Paris' health reasons, unfortunately, both of them will stand by from the works at CEPEJ. Therefore, it becomes even more important that we find new volunteers to participate in those work groups. Next. We have the pleasure to greet today the president of the SECAR. We didn't doubt he would come, and we made especially this slide for him. But
so, Mr. Sauva, would you like to say a few words? Vous voulez dire quelques mots à l'Assemblée?
En français ou en anglais, vous pouvez venir ici devant. Comme ça,
tout le monde va jouer.
On en profite.
Bonjour, je suis Pierre Rochefort, je suis président du groupe expert comptable de la Roumanie. La Roumanie, l'expert pour l'activité de comptabilité, c'est une activité réglementée. L'année passée, on a fait 100 années depuis qu'on a été établi par le décret du roi 1921. Et voilà, nous sommes une association avec autour de transition en Roumanie. On a passé bien sûr à l'histoire de Roumanie avec la période communiste. Dans la période communiste, la protection, le propre expert comptable a été suspendu, mais après la révolution, on a réussi à rétablir le propre professionnel. Et maintenant, nous sommes à peu près 3000 experts comptables et environ 3800 experts comptables judiciaires. Nous sommes très impliqués dans l'activité d'expertise. Et maintenant, nous sommes en train d'établir un nouveau standard pour collecting accounting, c'est la comptabilité judiciaire. C'est un système qui est plus de l'expertise, c'est fraud investigation. Et on travaille beaucoup avec les Américains parce qu'ils sont très, très forts sur ce sujet. Bon, qu'est-ce que je peux dire? Je suis ravi d'avoir la possibilité de collaborer avec vous. J'ai compris qu'on a déjà vous avez déjà des partenaires en Roumanie, c'est la Cour de justice. On a une très bonne collaboration avec cette Cour de justice, aussi avec M. Barou, que vous avez rencontré, et on a beaucoup travaillé sur le guide d'expertise. Et en effet, on a fait beaucoup de choses les plus réguliers dans tout le système judiciaire romain. Bon, qu'est-ce que je peux dire de plus?
Est-ce qu'il y a des questions pour M. Chauvat à propos de la Roumanie ou de son organisation?
Plus, bien sûr, on va regarder très bien sur le groupe de travail et on peut proposer des experts pour accomplir les objectifs que l'Institut a proposé pour être plus visible au niveau européen. Bon. Mes coordonnées, notre coordonnée sur le site. Et s'il y a des questions, vous pouvez me contacter. Merci beaucoup.
Voilà. Merci. On espère que la CECAC participera activement aux prochains travaux de l'I3E, notamment réunion COMEX. Donc, sachez que même si pour l'instant, vous n'avez pas encore de représentant au COMEX, mais vous êtes le bienvenu pour envoyer un invité. Hein. De toute façon, à chaque réunion de COMEX, on vous enverra les invitations et on espère évidemment qu'on puisse avoir une collaboration régulière ensemble. Voilà. Merci en tout cas d'avoir fait le déplacement.
Un autre membre institutionnel d'origine belge cette fois-ci, l'association EEEI, so the new institutional member from Belgium, engineer association with almost 30,000 members, within which there are many judicial experts. I'm not sure if there are any representatives either online or here. Maybe, Nico, you would like to say a few words. You have been in touch with them. Okay. Do you want to say a few words about any addition? Okay.
No. EEEI is a member of the Institute almost, well, they started their relationship with the Institute almost 1 year ago. They are mainly active in the Flemish part of Belgium, and of course they have a good relationship with Dutch experts as well. And Didier de Bus is a member of the COMEX. Unfortunately, he could not join the COMEX today.
We have also
I think he's online.
Oh.
Gerardo. Gerardo, are you there? Unfortunately, we cannot see who is online from here. Maybe Gerardo Arroyo is there. If so, he could present CORITI. So CORITI is a federation of association of engineering graduates in Italy. In Spain, apologizes. I'm terribly sorry about this. In Spain, indeed. And so they have many thousand members, including judicial experts, like many associations, of course. Not all members are judicial experts, but all members are graduated engineers.
And they participate in the Find Expert projects.
Exactly. We have elections today. We will make the votes after the presentation of this report. I think it will be easier. There are 8 members whose term of office has expired. 6 of those members would like to renew their mandate. Maybe we can ask them to, in 1 minute, to quickly introduce themselves. Roque Menes is in the room. Could you please introduce yourself for those who don't
As a
know
reminder, the duration of a mandate is for 3 years, if I'm correct. Sacha, you confirm?
Exactly. And the duration of your presentation should be no longer than 1 minute. It's a difficult exercise for him. Well, you can take whatever microphone you want.
Thank you very much. I've been an expert spanning 40 years and was the former president of company of regional and national experts, as well as that of a training organization for experts. I've been confronted with international issues and more especially European issues for many years. I joined the EEEI on the occasions of the Conference of Consensus at the Court of Cassation in Rome in May 2015. I got the confirmation that whatever the judicial system which is we will practice, we could all rally around common values that are skill, objectivity, impartiality, and independence. With the project of establishing a European directory of experts, it appeared crucial that every brick of the edifice we wanted to build offers the same solidity, that each and every one of the experts listed in the directory offers the same guarantee of higher education training as well as continuous training, validated by periodic assessment. But it also appears essential that the color of Europe that we put forward are not used to mask risks and imperfections. Helping those countries that have not yet done so to gather their experts within regional and national bodies. Helping to set up reliable specialist higher education training course as well as continuous education training course. Helping experts, where it may still be required, to attain independence, quality, objectivity, and impartiality. Those are the actions in which I participated during my first term, and that I would like to pursue with comments if you were to place your trust in me. Thank you.
Thank you, Roque. May I ask to Florence Rocheval to introduce herself, please?
Welcome to Avignon, and people I can see. It's a pity that you are not here because Avignon is a beautiful city and it's not so warm. Okay, I didn't know how to speech to do. Well, I'm a lawyer. Everybody knows that. I speak all the time. And I'm a lawyer, yeah, and I integrated the institute in 2019, I think. By the CNB, because I'm the representative of the French Bar, and the French Bar Association, I don't know if I say CNB, but anyway, it's our representing in France. And they asked me to be with you because I was a member of the CND, and I was working on this thinking. And now I'm not on the CND, but they still want me to be with you. So, well, that's why I'm here today, because I had to stop for a while, because they didn't told me you, and they asked me that I hope they will stay with us, because I hope I can stay with you, and I hope the CND will still be an institutional partner, which is essential because lawyers are all the place is excellent. And I really think we have to do something together at the European staff. I don't know
level.
Okay, and that's it. And that's why I'm here today. And hope you enjoy it. And thanks. That's it.
Merci, Florence.
Martine. Martine Notaire.
Donc, j'étais expert IT, informatique, pendant deux fois 5 ans, très à la cour d'appel de Versailles, même plus, je pense que ça fait plus de 10 ans, 15 ans. Et je ne peux pas être expert honoraire parce que j'ai fait la cour d'appel de Versailles et ensuite fait la cour d'appel de Paris. Donc, ça ne se cumule pas pour l'honorariat. Bon. Je suis rentrée à l'Institut il y a 12 années, voilà. J'ai beaucoup travaillé, monté le site web de l'Institut. Aujourd'hui, je suis en charge de la communication, donc généralement pour l'Institut, et plus particulièrement maintenant pour le projet Find an Expert Too. Donc, j'espère que vous avez reçu la dernière newsletter qui est partie la semaine dernière, que vous l'avez lu. Alors, envoyez-nous des retours, des contenus. La communication, elle ne peut pas se faire sans vous, des articles, et puis surtout relayer la communication, l'information auprès de vos équipes dans tous les pays, traduisez dans leur langue si c'est nécessaire. Il faut vraiment que l'on touche encore plus de monde via les réseaux sociaux, via vos sites web, vos newsletters. Donc, je compte sur vous. Et c'est pour ça que je me représente pour continuer à travailler pour l'Europe et pour l'Institut. Quelqu'un d'autre?
Très bien. Vous voyez que...
Pour nous le micro. Elle ne veut pas nous rendre le micro parce qu'elle est la spécialiste de la communication. Alors du coup, c'est son outil de travail.
Alors, juste deux remarques. D'abord, une première sur les nouveaux candidats. Vous voyez que nous sommes une organisation très transversale au métier, puisque sur les 6 candidats, il y a 3 avocats et 3 experts. Donc, ça montre bien la pluralité et également une distribution homme-femme très équilibrée. Nous avons un incident de procédure.
Non, on n'a pas d'incident de procédure. Attends, on n'a pas d'incident de procédure. Non, on n'est pas encore à l'incident. Mais on a encore 3 personnes.
Prévenir un incident de procédure.
On a 3 personnes qui ne sont pas présentes. Béatrice D était avec nous ce matin, mais n'est pas là cet après-midi. Christian Lenz et Claude Duvernois. Very quick presentation of Beatrice Day. I think most of you know, of course, Beatrice, who has been co-president, and she was co-president with me during 3 years, so I will vote for her. But maybe one day she will become a co-president again, but in the meantime, she has a lot of work with the Find an Expert 2 project. One characteristic of the way she does her work as lawyer, she is a French bar lawyer, but also she's a German bar lawyer at the bar of Cologne in Germany. Claude Vernois était bâtonnier des Hautes-Seines, et Il est membre du COMEX de l'I3E depuis presque la création et il a une spécialité auquel il est très attaché, c'est la médiation. Christian Lenz, our last on the list, but not the least candidate, Christian Lenz is a German lawyer, and she contributed a lot in the Finance Expert 1 project because at the time she was preparing a doctoral thesis, which she realized in the meantime, she obtained. And she, of course, knows perfectly how European projects work, and especially the Finance Expert 1 project, which she assisted from the beginning to the end. So these are our 6 candidates. We will vote a bit later because we need to vote together with the survey at a distance. And before doing so, we should make sure we have 2 scrutineers to control the vote. So are there volunteers? We will choose scrutineers in the room. It will be more efficient. Gilles Triboula, oui. Tu acceptes d'être scrutateur, de vérifier les votes et...
Fernand Maillard, par exemple. Très bien, donc personne du bureau.
Parfait.
Voilà. Ni des candidats, donc pas bien.
Donc s'il y a des questions sur l'un ou l'autre candidat, n'hésitez pas, on est à votre disposition. Ouais, les candidats eux-mêmes, d'ailleurs, sont à votre disposition pour répondre aux questions éventuelles.
Voilà, donc la procédure de vote arrivera en fin d'exposé
oui.
Pour permettre aux personnes à distance de s'exprimer par voie du sondage.
Okay, just to make sure we explain things correctly, actually there is no quota of candidates, so that means you do not have to select a candidate if you think that there are too few seats available. The only thing you do is you accept or you reject a candidate.
Question. Who's the second scrutineer?
The second scrutineer is Mr. Maillard, Fernand Maillard.
We have 4 new individual members this year. Pardon? Okay. We have 4 new individual members this year, 3 French, 1 Belgian, Luc Baudanguien, Marc Gurtler, Marc Pléguer et Nicolas Trèves.
Je crois que certains sont présents à distance. Peut-être on leur propose de s'exprimer, mais ce n'est pas forcément facile du point de vue de l'audio.
Ça fonctionne?
Oui, ça fonctionne à peu près rapidement.
Bonjour à tous. Je suis très heureux d'avoir rejoint l'Institut européen.
Alors, vous pouvez vous présenter?
Alors, Marc Gurtler, je suis expert près la Cour d'appel de Bordeaux en France. Je suis ingénieur et professeur de sciences de l'ingénieur. Mes spécialités sont la machine, les industries, l'automatisme, la robotique et l'innovation. J'étais investi dans l'enseignement, la recherche et le développement prototype en neurosciences pour la médecine. Et puis, j'ai décidé il y a 3 ans de me rendre utile auprès des magistrats. Alors, je suis allé à la faculté de droit, étudier pendant 1 an pour obtenir un diplôme d'université. Et depuis, j'ai commencé mes activités d'expert et je trouve ça vraiment très, très intéressant. Je me suis tourné vers l'Institut européen parce que les problématiques qui arrivent au niveau technologique viennent très souvent par la Commission, par le Parlement, par des résolutions, par des propositions. Et j'ai trouvé ça pertinent d'être au fait de ce qui se passe, de façon à pouvoir proposer des éléments de réflexion sur l'avenir technologique et puis son insertion dans le droit tel qu'il se fait actuellement. Voilà.
Très bien, merci Marc. Et donc à bientôt.
Avec plaisir.
Est-ce qu'il y a un autre nouveau membre qui est présent et qui souhaiterait se présenter? Voilà, bon, très bien. Donc nous passons au sujet suivant.
Alors, le sujet suivant, c'est vraiment la spécialité de Benoît, ce sont les activités de formation et de colloque.
Alors, nous avons effectivement décidé il y a quelques années de diversifier nos activités et considérer que la formation était un moyen de mettre en présence les acteurs du procès concernés par l'expertise. Et donc, nous avons fait des propositions à différents partenaires pour, comment dire, vulgariser des thématiques qui sont souvent peu ou mal vulgarisées. Nos propositions ont rencontré un écho dans 3 organisations. Le Conseil national des barreaux, qui est représenté ici, qui est un membre historique de l'Institut et qui est représenté ici par Maître Roche-Lemagne, qui s'est présenté tout à l'heure. Le Conseil national des commissaires de justice, qui est la nouvelle appellation française et peut-être européenne d'ailleurs, pour l'activité des huissiers de justice, qui va être regroupée avec celle des commissaires-priseurs à l'intérieur de l'appellation générique commissaire de justice, et ainsi qu'une école d'avocats, l'école d'avocats des ressorts du barreau de la Cour d'appel de Paris, des barreaux dépendants de la Cour d'appel de Paris. Voilà. Donc nous avons conçu soit des parcours en e-learning, soit des thématiques susceptibles de donner lieu à tenue d'ateliers pratiques pour le partage, un meilleur partage. Alors, ce sont des ateliers ou des e-learning qui ont été co-construits en partenariat, en binôme généralement experts-avocats, sont les spécialités, et qui donc donnent lieu soit à un parcours en e-learning qui est disponible sur une plateforme à distance, soit sous forme de présentiel, en petits ateliers pratiques et partage d'expériences pratiques. Alors là, là, on est plus dans ta spécialité, Étienne.
Ah oui.
Colloquiums.
Okay, we organized this year a training together with the Belgian Institute of Certified Auditors, Institut des réviseurs d'entreprise, with ITAA, which is the Belgian Institute of Certified Accountants, NFFI, Nederlandse Federatie van Forensische Investigators. Sorry, I missed the last word. So NFFI are forensic investigators in the Netherlands. The president is Nico, who is vice president of our association. And CECAV, the compagnie des experts auprès de la Cour d'appel de Versailles, and the CNECJ, Compagnie nationale des experts comptables de justice in France. So we were 6 co-organizers plus one additional one outsider, but an important outsider, the Expert Witness Institute, brilliantly represented by Kay Linnell. So the theme was judicial expertise in accountancy and finance, taking into account the technical environment and also the European dimension. That took place in Versailles early May this year. It was both with physical attendance and in hybrid format, so with attendance at distance through Teams.
Any questions?
Dans le texte, le CNECJ transformé en CNCEJ. Pas du tout, mais pas du tout la même chose.
Ah oui, tu as raison.
C'est là, il y a une coquille.
Une erreur de dyslexie, c'est juste.
Le logo, c'est CNECJ.
Oui, voilà, parfait. Et
Voilà,
j'ai
les erreurs sont réparées.
écorché CECAV, le président de la CECAV qui nous regarde
À distance.
aura peut-être l'indulgence de me pardonner. Oui, mais on doit être bien avec la CECAV puisque c'est eux qui nous hébergent. Oui. Suivant. Groupe de travail permanent. Ah. So we had a meeting in September in Luxembourg. We tried to enjoy a pause in the COVID to have the first physical meeting since the start of the COVID. That was in September in Luxembourg. Many of you attended that meeting in Luxembourg. Which was the first in-presence meeting since the start of the COVID.
So there is also a permanent committees working on various subjects. One theme about the certification of experts. That is a new subject, a raising subject. So we found that it could be interesting to have a kind of survey of questions about the certification of work of an expert. We also constituted working groups, permanent working groups around regional delegation for EEEI. We have 3 areas in which we meet regularly to discuss about a more active create more activity locally in Italy, in Romania, and in Spain. And we hope these permanent working groups will produce results in the coming years.
Communication. In our working groups, one of the key groups is a group led by Martine, who introduced herself a few moments ago. We have several communication tools, including the newsletter, the website, of course, and also social media. Yes, if you want to say a few words, Martine, you are welcome. Donc Martine est la personne que tout le monde, dont tout le monde voit le travail, mais que peu de monde voit, puisqu'elle ne se met jamais en vedette à titre personnel, mais c'est bien elle qui fait passer tous les messages de l'I3E, enfin de l'extérieur vers l'I3E et de l'I3E vers l'extérieur aussi, ce qui est vraiment très important. Voilà. avec Nathalie qui est omniprésente, il faut le dire. Hein. Donc rien ne se fait à l'Institut sans Nathalie. Mais on ne vote pas pour elle. On a trop peur qu'elle ne pose plus sa candidature, en fait.
So Martin and Natalie are requesting from all of us to bring up material, written material for her to produce articles to feed the coming newsletters. So Martin and Natalie are communicating about themes interesting in the coming newsletter quite in advance. So every time you see something that you see could be relevant for an article in the newsletter, well, give the idea at first, and better write the article and send it to. It doesn't have to be long. It could be a few words, but a regular feed of ideas and themes and articles is necessary for us to deliver a regular a newsletter every quarter, about, let's say, every trimester.
For index each 2 months of the newsletter from the project.
When is the next issue expected, Martin?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Okay.
And the next one? September?
À propos de la communication, j'en profite peut-être puisqu'il y a beaucoup de nouveaux venus ici et à distance sur les règles linguistiques à l'I3E. On est obligé pour des raisons budgétaires de limiter le nombre de langues. C'est donc bien uniquement un choix budgétaire. Ce qu'on essaye de promouvoir, on a du matériel sur le site qui permet de comprendre l'expertise dans tous les pays de l'Union européenne. Si vous avez des contenus à titre scientifique à mettre sur cette partie du site, vous êtes les bienvenus. La règle que nous utilisons est vous pouvez utiliser votre langue, si ce n'est pas le français ou l'anglais, à condition de donner une traduction soit en français, soit en anglais. Pour la newsletter, si vous donnez même chose, la newsletter est éditée en français et en anglais, une des deux langues suffit et puis on peut se débrouiller pour la traduction. C'est ce qu'on fait habituellement. Et donc, voilà un peu les règles de fonctionnement. Le COMEX et le STIRCO essayent d'être plus ou moins bilingues français-anglais.
So about our publications or publications of our members, well, there was one publication made on behalf of EEEI by L'Extenso Editions. It was a practical guide to judicial expertise, which was written under our former member, Jacques Lauvin, not former member, but former COMEX member. You have seen his name in the list of expired mandates, and he was not wishing to reconduct his application. Well, he's an honorary president of the expert company of Versailles, and he joined his effort with a lawyer, Maître Caron, who was former bâtonnier of Versailles, and they drove a group of about 40 people, 20 experts, 20 lawyers, and they written a guide on practical guide, especially aimed at the lawyers' audience. It's the expertise from the point of view of the lawyer.
We have a scientific committee. The scientific committee is independent from the COMEX. We have no influence on them. That's a governance rule within EEEI. There are a few new members to that committee. The president, Gilles Cuniberti, is professor of law at the University of Luxembourg. We have Dori Reeling, who is a honorary senior judge in the Amsterdam District Court. Jacques Sluismans, professor, is a lawyer and professor at the University of Nijmegen in the Netherlands. And we have Vincent Avignon, who is a magistrate at the French Cour de Cassation and who regularly participated in all our meetings since, I think, the start of the institute, and who is also professor at the University of Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines in France.
So this scientific committee awards prizes, and the prize for the year 2021 was given to a book about ergological expertise. This was a book written by Monsieur Jean-Pierre Lauweres, who is expert about ergology in Belgium. He was with us this morning. He spoke about his book, and it was very interesting. Mr. Lauweres told me during lunch that this expertise, this field of expertise, is rather difficult to find in Belgium, with very poor newcomers. So it's interesting to have his knowledge to be written for the coming years and for the coming expert in this field.
I know that we are speaking about the awards. Of course, we are very pleased to have awarded that prize. There is no money linked to the prize, but there is, it's already the second award that is attributed by EEEI. So we expect this will become a reference in the future. It probably already is, but it is time for the preparation of the new awards, the 2022 awards. So if you have knowledge of people having written a book, there is they are supposed to have published the book recently. That means I think within the 12 last months before the award can be given. So that can be a book related either to expertise, written by an expert. It can be written by a lawyer. So we have no limitation of who may be the author or what may be the topic. The only thing is we try to have things relating to expertise in general.
I think in the rule of the prize, the format was not restrictive to only books communications. It could be also articles, significant articles in papers. It could be also conferences given with relatively large audience. And it could be also perhaps academic work, thesis. So all that kind of stuff, as long as it covers expertise, our subjects, is eligible to be submitted to the scientific committee for review and eventually for award of the prize. The schedule for the 2022 prize submission period will end by end of September, the end of the third quarter. the fourth quarter being made available for the committee to review the submission and then to select the prize, the communication to be laureate for the prize. Any question on this subject?
Okay, communication, I spoiled it already a bit because I spoke already about communication. So once again, communication is very important, and pay attention when you vote in a few moments. If you do not vote for Martin, there will be no longer communication at the Institute. But hopefully you can join her team about communication. She always welcomes new people interested by communicating. So I didn't mention that indeed there are a few very interesting links on the website, and do not hesitate. When in doubt, you can always contact Nathalie or Benoit or myself if you feel there is something missing in the communication.
We should have also a quick word for social networks, and especially thank Nico, who is going quite a work to create animation around our LinkedIn page. I hope you all select the follow button on our LinkedIn page. We have at the moment around 200 people, 200 followers, but this number of followers should be at least the double. So please follow our page on LinkedIn, and please add your invite your contacts on LinkedIn, well, at least the relevant contacts, to also follow our LinkedIn page, because it gives also the information, and perhaps it's easier to communicate on a short format on the LinkedIn page than on a longer format on the newsletter. These format of communication answer one to another, so it's important to be present on the social networks also.
Oui. Martine rappelle effectivement qu'il y a des vidéos de nos conférences sur YouTube. Très important, oui. Et notamment les vidéos de la conférence sur l'intelligence artificielle à Malines en 2019. Ethics and finance.
Not for you, Etienne.
What is not for me? Ethics or
ethics and it's all
finance?
It's all
okay. No, go ahead, please.
No, it's all for you.
Okay, great. So just to remind a few ethics rules we have, we are completely independent financially. The drawback, of course, is that our resources are quite scarce, and therefore we work only with people who are benevolent in their work for the EEEI. We have no direct or indirect sponsorship, and that means that we are completely independent. No one influences the EEEI. But of course, you as members, as the COMEX, you know that you have a real influence on the outcome. And in projects like Find an Expert 2, we all have an influence, and there is an independent jury at the end of FINEX 2, just to make sure that we are not only independent, but that there is an independent review of the outcome of the conference. A few figures about the institute.
Est-ce qu'on vote d'abord avant ou est-ce qu'on fera des votes à l'issue de tous les jusqu'à la présentation? Non.
C'est plus facile après.
Plus facile après, ok.
Okay, we have a discussion about whether we would vote no or later. Maybe it's easier to organize all the votes
At the end.
at the end. So the key element of the accounts of the institute in the assets we had at the end of 2021 a large amount of cash, which was 80,000 euro. And on the liabilities side of the balance sheet, you can see that our equity, my arm is not long enough, but this equity was 56,800. So since the start of the institute, this is probably the highest figure we have had. It is important for us to have a relatively significant equity because we are conducting European projects. We need to have a minimum level of solvency. At the moment, the Find an Expert 2 project is a total project for EEEI of 300,000 euro. The project is actually conducted by two organizations with two separate budgets. The other organization, Euro Expert, has a budget of 50,000 euro. But we are not responsible for this. We are, of course, responsible for what we do. And what we do is that largest part of the budget of 300,000 euro. Our responsibility is to be able to fund that budget up to 10%, and either we will have to put the money or we have to find resources to fill our part of the budget. And those resources are, amongst others, the income from the consensus conference, which will be held during the summer 2023. The amount of debt at the end of last year was 33,677 euros. So you see that we have widely enough to cover those debts simply by the cash on the bank accounts of the EEEI. So the cash situation of the EEEI at the moment is not worrying, and at least it is not more worrying that it was in the 17 previous years. So we try to keep the budget break even year after year, and until now we have succeeded in doing so. Next slide is a view of the profit and loss account. This is the profit and loss account of the operations of EEEI. Actually, we have an operating a profit and loss account of our operations, and then we will have next year a profit and loss account specifically dedicated to the European project. If you remind, we had that during the previous projects. We have to keep analytic bookkeeping just to make sure that we can provide all the accounts necessary to the European Commission. We are especially audited by the European Commission. It is our fourth project. We have already been fully audited for the 3 previous projects. The profit and loss account of last year ends with a profit of 25,000, and sorry, I cannot read the small letter, almost 26,000, 25,955. We made that profit especially thanks to the education activities, for which we had more income than expenses. We had to pay a small amount of taxes. You see that the bottom of the page 3, because we are a French non-profit organization, which means that our education activities are considered from a tax point of view to be commercial activities and therefore are taxable, and that's a specificity of the French regulation on not-profit organizations. So that's it about the accounts, unless there are questions, of course. If there are questions, we can answer them. If someone listening from Teams has a question, do not hesitate to raise your hand and we will answer to it.
Pas de main levée, Nathalie, sur Teams.
Okay. After, if
Les activités de conseil, pas de conseil pour la partie d'activité.
je pense, oui. C'est une bonne question. Pardon? Non. Oui.
A priori, toute la facturation entre.
Oui. Oui. Voilà. C'est une petite particularité des... Ah oui, c'est ça. Okay. Très bien.
Tu demandes de venir avec.
Okay, budget. So our budget is mainly our operating accounts for next year is mainly membership contributions. And our total resources, that does not include, of course, the European project. The European project doesn't provide us with resources. It's a co-financing, actually, but we expect to have 41,500 income, 3/4 of it being membership contributions, and 1/4 of it training services. The operating expenses at the other side, if you could just switch a bit, thank you. Our main expense are our salaries. We have only one employee half-time, and actually Natalie is working full-time for the association, almost. No, she's working more than half-time, and we are thankful for her for not looking at her watch when she works for EEEI. Thank you for her. She's timid, so she will say nothing. So that's the largest part of the budget. Another part of the budget is a small row. You see final expert 2 contribution. This is a theoretical figure. The theoretical figure is we expect to have approximately 84,000 euro expenses on the final expert 2 project next year. We do not forecast any income in 2022 out of the final expert 2 project, and so our contribution as an institute should be more or less 8,400. No, that project is not an annual budget, so it will the income, the largest part of income and expenses will happen in 2023. So this is really a thinking exercise, and this is an approximation of the cost we will face this year. The balance of the costs and expenses should be taken as a theoretical thinking exercise. Should be a net profit of 1,700-500, but it is a forecast, of course, and there is always a margin of error. The key thing to keep in mind is that we have enough funds to conduct our final expert project in 2022. There was a question during the COMEX this morning, which was, are we sure we will have the cash necessary to conduct the final expert 2 project until the end? And that's a very good question, because the European Commission will, according to the contract, pay us 70% of what it owes to us at the end of the work, and 30% when it approves the work. That means that one way or the other, we will have to bridge a financial gap of a few months in 2023. We had to face the same situation with the 3 former European projects. So we have several ways to approach the question, either negotiate with the European Commission for having higher cash advance, which they could grant us, or ask the bank to issue us a bridge loan, which also happens in the past. And of course, the third way is to increase our equity. So we are really a non-profit organization, but there is a good reason why we have to try to increase our equity. So if there are questions, please feel free to ask, to raise your hand.
In the same time, I'm told that Mr. José Luis Hernandez, representing the Cohiti Association from Spain, Engineer Association, is now online, and perhaps it is an opportunity for us to meet him. I'm trying to find again. Is he ready to say a few words in Spanish? Perhaps, Luc, would you be kind enough to translate? So I put the slide here. It's Mr. José Antonio Galdón. speaking for Coriti in Madrid. Viens ici peut-être. Est-ce qu'il a son micro on ou... Attends, il a son micro coupé. Là. Il faut lui dire d'activer son micro. C'est difficile, on va traduire. ¿Me oye? ¿Me oye? Tiene que poner su... Attends, est-ce que j'ai mon micro ouvert? Bon, c'est peut-être aussi ça qui ne les entend pas parce que le micro n'est pas ouvert. Si, mon micro est ouvert, là, c'est bon. OK. Il est là. OK. ¿Me oye? Non, il n'entend rien. Soit il n'entend pas, soit il ne sait pas si son micro est ouvert. Bon, je le vois pas. On peut, mets-le moi que je le vois. Je peux lui envoyer un message. Je lui ai envoyé déjà.
Parfait.
On va lui envoyer un message qu'il est. C'est Louise. OK. Je vais lui envoyer un message de suite. Alors, comment on fait pour mettre un message? Et on voit pas son écran en fait. Bon, attends. Bon, il n'y a plus rien là. Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Bon, je propose qu'on lui envoie un message.
Je lui ai envoyé déjà, mais on va lui renvoyer. Je vais lui renvoyer.
Voilà, dès qu'il est.
Oui, dès que vous êtes mis d'accord, on lui donne la parole.
On lui donnera la parole dès qu'il sera disponible. Où en était-on maintenant dans nos
slides?
Ah ben voilà, ça tombe bien. Ok, très bien. Merci.
Gerardo, où est-ce qu'il est Gerardo? Gerardo, il parle français.
Oui, anglais, tout ce qu'on veut. Gerardo, est-ce que tu nous entends? Mais je propose qu'on commence à lancer les votes pendant ce temps-là, Nathalie. So we will start the votes. There are actually 10 votes. Il y a 10 votes différents. Pour la salle, c'est plus facile, puisque, a priori, pour la salle, on va vous demander un vote à main levée. Si quelqu'un veut un vote secret, on peut toujours le faire, mais vous vous arrangez avec Sacha, notre secrétaire général, qui va organiser le vote secret. On n'a pas organisé de vote secret cette année-ci, puisque, comme je l'ai dit, il n'y a pas d'enjeu, vous ne risquez pas de devoir... Vous ne risquez pas de devoir choisir entre deux candidats. Et néanmoins, si quelqu'un souhaite le vote secret, on peut l'organiser. Nathalie, on peut... Et je ne sais pas, pardon? Mais dans l'ordre de votre mail? Oui, OK. The first vote, le premier vote sera sur le rapport du COMEX. Est-ce que... Attends, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On va...
Lance le vote.
Oui, d'accord. Donc, le vote, le premier, c'est le vote du COMEX. Est-ce que vous votez... Qui vote pour le rapport moral? Qui accepte le rapport moral? Voilà. Martine, j'ai vu que tu levais ton bras, mais j'ai la lumière à contre-jour. De toute façon, pour. Très bien. Oui, mais moi j'ai voté, mais ici, Luc et Benoît sont absorbés. Voilà.
Vote pour.
Et donc, on a les votes à distance.
You have
Dans
to-
conversation, in a conversation,
Ils ont levé leurs mains.
you have the possibility to vote. Hopefully it works.
Je vais lui mettre un message.
Ah, agite. Ah, ok.
Bueno.
Ok. Et le comptier, Nathalie? Bon. Juste par acquis de conscience, est-ce que quelqu'un vote contre? If someone vote against? Oui.
Tu peux lui dire de nous envoyer son numéro de téléphone. Voilà.
Je ne sais pas, il y a nos deux scrutateurs qui font leur job là, donc je les envie d'avoir ce job-là. Donc, bon, on va vous demander après comment vous avez vécu ce vote, hein, comme scrutateur. Voilà. OK. Balance sheet balance sheet and profit and loss account 2021. Donc, les comptes financiers de l'année 2021. Qui vote pour? Benoît. OK. Parfait. Est-ce que quelqu'un souhaite voter contre? C'est plus simple. Est-ce que quelqu'un vote contre? Est-ce que quelqu'un s'abstient? Bon, personne ne s'est abstenu, personne n'a voté contre, en tout cas dans la salle.
Ah, c'est toi qui viens m'envoyer. Je vais m'envoyer. Je vais descendre parce qu'il faut mettre le G.
On peut passer au troisième vote, Nathalie? Le troisième, c'est le budget 2022, budget 2022. Est-ce que je pose la question autrement? Est-ce que quelqu'un veut voter contre? Est-ce que quelqu'un n'est pas d'accord? Does someone disagree with the budget?
Tu es OK là?
Attends. Ah non, pardon. Désolé, j'ai mal posé la question, je n'ai pas vu. Bon, allez, on recommence. Qui est pour le budget? Qui approuve le budget? OK. Qui approuve le budget?
Oui. Benoît.
Parfait. Benoît. Parfait. Tu approuves le budget? Non. Le co-président approuve le budget. Très bien.
Okay.
Tout le monde a voté dans la salle, hein? Voilà. Nathalie? Ah, 1 minute. Oui. Ah, d'un point de vue formel, on doit approuver les nouveaux membres individuels. D'accord.
Je vais appeler son collègue pour qu'il me donne un numéro.
Ah oui, les membres du COMEX.
Il faut que tu valides ça.
OK. Alors, on vote maintenant pour les membres du COMEX. Members of the COMEX. First, Béatrice D. Qui vote pour Béatrice D?
C'est Gérard. Oui, c'est
Benoît, lève ta main. Benoît, levez sa main. Le doigt.
Oui, c'est bon. Je voudrais téléphoner un représentant
Ok.
de Corité.
On attend le vote à distance.
Simplement, il faudrait m'envoyer son numéro de téléphone. Je peux l'appeler. Est-ce que tu peux me l'envoyer par SMS?
Oui. Pardon?
Oui, mais j'ai à
D'accord.
côté de moi Luc Seban qui peut traduire d'espagnol en français, en anglais. Voilà. Hein, il y a un
Claude
traducteur de
Vernois.
l'autre côté, et donc il pourra parler en espagnol et nous avons une personne pour traduire. OK? Tu m'envoies son numéro par téléphone? Merci. Il va m'envoyer le numéro.
Il suffit de compter les pour, hein, donc on compte les pour et
Il n'a pas envoyé?
Christian Lenz.
Oui, il faut que tu lèves la main. Bon.
Est-ce que tout le monde a voté? Has everybody voted at a distance for Christian Lenz? Yes, okay. Roquemenes. Roquemenes is selected and there is a celebration music especially for him. I suspect he planned it because we didn't.
Bien sûr, je vais traduire directement. On va le mettre comme ça.
Martin Auter. C'est bien, Martin Auter.
Tu lèves la main.
Florence Roche-Lemagne.
Oui, on lève la main.
En fait, le carillon, c'était pour Florence Roche-Lemagne, mais elle l'a lancé un peu trop tôt. Elle a des complicités sur place. Bravo, Florence. On en a encore. Hein? Non. Tout le monde? Ah oui, parfait. Bon. Il reste encore une question? Okay, so the vote is completed. Non, c'est le COMEX qui valide les membres individuels. Hein. Ils sont juste mentionnés pour... voilà. OK. Est-ce qu'on va avoir la communication ou...
J'essaye, j'ai un numéro, mais il n'a pas l'air de fonctionner.
Bon,
Donc,
sinon, on fait une petite pause.
Oui.
On va faire une pause. We will make a pause during 15 minutes exactly.
Il a marqué que...
We will start at...
Il a marqué que Gerardo peut intervenir.
Ah, à moins que Gerardo intervienne, mais sinon, je propose qu'on fasse une petite pause maintenant. Ouais.
Señor José Luis Hernández.
Sí, buenos días.
Buenos días, yo estoy al COMEX y voy a traducir para usted, para las personas. Estoy a su disposición.
Perfecto. Bien.
On lui donne pas?
Sí, ¿me oye?
Sí, yo oigo, usted habla y yo traduzco.
Perfecto. Muy bien. Quería la presentación del COGITI, ¿verdad?
Exacto, c'était la présentation
Sí.
du COGITI.
Bien, el COGITI es el colegio, el Consejo de Ingenieros Técnicos Industriales de España.
Alors, c'est le Conseil des ingénieurs territoriaux d'Espagne, le COGITI.
Representa a más de 80.000 ingenieros de España.
Il représente plus de 80 000 ingénieurs en Espagne.
Hay entre el colectivo de ingenieros muchos son peritos que se dedican al tema en el que estamos trabajando.
Donc, beaucoup d'entre eux se dédient à l'expertise, qui est le sujet qui nous concerne.
Sí, por parte del COGITI ya estamos trabajando en el grupo de nomenclatura de España, que lo hemos enviado.
Pour la part du COGITI, pour sa part, le COGITI travaille sur la nomenclature des experts qu'ils ont envoyés à l'EI.
Sí, estamos a la disposición del proyecto para cualquier otro trabajo que tengamos que hacer.
Et nous sommes à disposition afin de pouvoir compléter, afin de travailler dans ce cadre.
No sé si quieren
Sí.
que conteste alguna cosa más.
Est-ce que yo voy a preguntar si tienen preguntas para usted? Est-ce que vous avez des questions pour le COGITI? Je vais en poser une si vous permitez.
Bien sûr.
El COGITI, ¿puede usted decirnos dónde está ubicado el COGITI y cómo funciona internamente para gestionar 80.000 ingenieros en España? Est-ce que vous pouvez nous expliquer où est localisé le COGITI et comment il fait pour gérer 80.000 experts dans toute l'Espagne?
Sí, en España hay 49 provincias. Está dividido territorialmente en 49 provincias.
Il y a 49 provinces en Espagne.
Cada provincia tiene un colegio de ingenieros técnicos industriales.
Chaque province a un collège d'experts techniques d'ingénieurs.
Correcto. Y en cada provincia hay un decano, hay un presidente de ese colegio de ingenieros.
Donc, dans chaque région, il y a une représentation avec un président.
Que representan o que están asociados en este consejo, en el COGITI, en el Consejo de Ingenieros Técnicos Industriales de España.
Qui sont associés au conseil du COGITI pour l'Espagne.
Y el COGITI representa a todas estas provincias, a todos estos colegios de todas las provincias que suman en total más de 80.000 ingenieros.
Et le COGITI représente l'intégralité de ces 49 districts d'ingénieurs qui réalisent également des expertises judiciaires. Ok. ¿Usted quiere decir algo más?
Nada, que estamos encantados de trabajar con todos los representantes de Europa y que vamos a trabajar en todo lo que nos pidan y que agradecerles a todos la confianza depositada en el Consejo.
Est-ce que vous voulez que je traduise ou c'est suffisamment compréhensible?
Nous, on t'a payé pour
donc,
traduire.
ils sont très heureux donc, je vais... OK, compte tenu de ma rémunération. Ils sont très heureux de travailler et de collaborer au COGITI dans cette démarche européenne. Pues, señor presidente, les agradecemos mucho por su tiempo y por sus explicaciones. Nosotros también estamos a su disposición para cualquier cosa. Yo voy a cortar la discusión ahora y mantenemos por la web. Muchas gracias. No pasa nada. Bienvenido. Buena suerte. Gracias.
Gracias.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Merci, Luc, pour tes bons offices.
Fait 9 minutes de pause, donc, parce que les participants à distance viennent à 16 heures précises. Donc, profiter de ce bref instant. Et puis après, la parole à Sacha.
So we make
Yabico.
a 10-minute break, and then the conference will take place with the change of participants on the floor.